All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the Akim that's out there laboring, that's up the hopeful elect, that's doing this work in truth, in sincerity. And pretty much I want to do a response video from the brother from South Carolina, 08. The video is entitled, I left my post and went against GMS and was wrong, and I'm sorry. And this pretty much was a brother that was in the camp going back to pretty much 2012, 2013, I believe, the main camp. I have met this individual, this brother by the name of Shemai. I met him a few times, rubbed elbows with him up at the main camp. And pretty much, he fell away from the main camp with another brother. I believe the brother was, the ex-brother. He, came to camp inappropriately dressed, pretty much with some slumber pants on, pajama pants, whatever you want to call them. This is the thing where, you got to take what we do serious, so the spirit was, to pretty much, rebuke him on that. He got offended, he felt some kind of way about it. And, I believe this brother pretty much got caught up in that sweep, so to speak. He pretty much got caught up in that mix. And, because I believe that him and that Manasseh brother, I believe that they were pretty tight. And I think that he was pretty much beguiled in the spirit, and he didn't use proper discernment at the time. The brother was pretty much young in the spirit. So he pretty much, got pretty much, maybe a secondhand story on that, and it got him riled up, and he pretty much, Satan overtook him, and he pretty much went against Great Millstone, and it was all pretty much on about just feelings at the end of the day. There was nothing that they was saying anything about the doctrine or anything like that, but it was all about hurt feelings at the end of the day. And this is the thing, man. You got to have tough skin in this thing, and you got to be able to take rebuke and reproof, man. Okay. Sometimes, man, and then like I said, though, and then the whole thing with him, it wasn't even really pointed towards him, but he just got caught up in that moment, where the brother that he was pretty much hanging with, pretty much beguiled him, man. And this pretty much is like the Prodigal Son, in Luke the 15th chapter. Pretty much, he repented, and what can we say, man? Okay, pretty much brothers will probably do videos on this particular thing, and hey, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. Okay, and it's funny how things that have just pretty much just take place. Because he had just been mentioning the situation with that guy, and then he happened to be there at the camp, and he specifically came down there to pretty much say his piece, and to say that pretty much he repented, and he was doing the work, and he never changed up the doctrine, okay, and pretty much, man, he had to pretty much grow in the spirit, man, to really see what was really going on, man, and he seen that the guy that he pretty much left with didn't continue the work, man. Okay, and pretty much now here he is now, for all eyes to see, man. And it's crazy how a lot of the things that we can see in the scriptures, man, we see it played out right here in these last days in real time, man. And this is very pretty much parallel with the Prodigal Son, man. But let me get a little synopsis on that. I'm not going to really pull up the scripture on that, though, because I got some other scriptures that I want to pull. But just a quick AI overview of that chapter in Luke, the 15th chapter. A prodigal son refers to the central figure in the biblical parable in Luke 15:11 to 32, who takes his inheritance, wasted through reckless living, returns home broken, only to be joyfully forgiven and celebrated by his loving Father, represents the Most High. Unconditional grace and forgiveness for repentant sinners, despite the resentment of his dutiful older brother. Okay, when the brother pretty much, he was more in lines of, he felt like he did everything right, but he pretty much resented his brother, and he felt like that he shouldn't be welcomed with open arms. When you go ahead and read into the chapter, but pretty much, that's what the Lord looks for, man. The Lord looks for a man to come and to humble himself before him, man. Okay, and he pretty much humbled himself before the congregation, man, and pretty much repented of that, man. And the whole thing was, like I said again, that whole rebuke thing wasn't even pointed towards him. It was the guy that he was hanging with, okay, that caught feelings, and he just got caught up in the mix with that, man, and got beguiled into pretty much come up against the brothers, man. You see, yeah, and the apostles, you see, okay, but he realized his ways, man. But let me get some scriptures real quick, man. Right, because it's real ironic, and nothing is really done by coincidence. At the end of the day, nothing is by coincidence. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse. Let's go to verse 11. I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, yet favor to men of skill. But time and chance happen to them all. And pretty much, man, it was a time and chance, man, where this situation has happened, where here it is, he's brought before the men of the Lord, and pretty much to come humbly and pretty much say his piece at the end of the day. Hey, man, listen, man, you got to serve the Most High with fear and trembling, man. And he pretty much had that penny, so to speak, okay, and he says that he's been out there and doing the work. He repented in doing the work, and pretty much relocated to North Carolina, and has been out there on highways and hedges, man. And pretty much, man, hey, that's a beautiful thing, man. And hey, man, and the Lord is full of mercy, man. And who are we to even pretty much come up against this brother right here, man? Okay, he come humbly, man. Hey, man, the brother transgressed, man. You got to forgive him, man. Okay, he repented. You see, what can we really say? Okay, because why? Because of that humbling spirit is sufficient for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Who could come up against that, man? At the end of the day, man. Okay, the brother seems sincere. I met him several times, and he seemed like a cool brother, man. It's just a situation where he just got caught up in the mix with that whole thing, man. But he realized his transgression and repented from that, man. Okay, but time and chance happened to them all, people that's in certain situations, man. This is a time and chance now to where now before the congregation, he was to say his piece, but at the end of the day, it's really between him and the Most High. But now the congregation pretty much recognizes the brother, okay, you see, and he humbled himself before the congregation, man. All right, but from there, let's go to Colossians. Colossians chapter 2, verse 6. As ye have therefore received Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as you have been taught, abounding wherein in thanksgiving. And pretty much, man, this is a faith thing, man. And pretty much, he said that, he teaches the same doctrine. He never strayed from that. And this whole situation that happened, man, he was young in the spirit, man. Younger brothers get caught up in when they're young in the spirit like that, man. They're not used to that type of rebuke or reproof, man. Because why? It's because at the end of the day, man, a lot of the brothers never had a father figure, so to speak, man. Okay. So when they be are confronted with some type of correction, that old man takes over, man. Okay, you got to get rid of that old man. That old man will pretty much lead you to destruction, man. And he reacted in a way where how a man in the world would react to a certain thing, man. And you have to understand that this is a spiritual thing, man. Okay, and that was being said to that individual, that brother, that the individual that fell out. For a reason, man. To take this thing seriously, man. You're not here to come to the camp and slumber pants, because that pretty much, you coming in that slumber spirit, man. That's like whatever, like you just jumped out of bed and just, threw some pajama pants on and came to camp. You see, all right, and and he didn't know how to handle that, man. But ultimately, his number was called, man, because, at the end of the day, that individual ended up falling out, man. Okay? But you got to be rooted and built up in this thing, man. And pretty much, man, he realized, the brother, now I'm talking about the brother Shammai, he realized his faults, man. Okay? And that whole battle wasn't his, man. Okay? It wasn't his, though, but he got caught up in the mix of that. But it says here, verse 8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach, and he was pretty much spoiled through philosophy, the ways of the world, man. He was spoiled by that individual, man. I believe that he was beguiled by this individual, man, to pretty much, have him take his side on this whole thing. And, the guy caught feelings and hey, Satan, rubbed off on him, man. You see? Okay. All right. But you got to be aware of that, man. Okay. He was spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit, man. You see? Okay. All right. And what's pretty much the tradition of men, man, how they walking around getting caught in their feelings, man. Okay. All right, we pretty much are here to be our brother's keeper at the end of the day, man. You see? Okay? And and that's the whole fact of the matter, man. You see? All right? He got spoiled through that, man. Okay? And you got to be fully convinced, man, and you understand, okay? All right? When you read up here, okay? Have you received this word, man? Okay, right? That pretty much, man, you got to hold fast to this whole thing, man. Okay, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay, the truth is still the truth at the end of the day, man. You gotta control your emotions, man. You see, all right? Because it's not about your emotions at the end of the day, man. Okay, it's about you pretty much serving the Lord, Okay, and for you to become that better man. All right. From there, let's go to Revelation. Okay, Revelation 3rd chapter, There's a couple of things I want to grab in that verse, that chapter. Let's start at Revelation 3, verse 3. Okay. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Now this is, pretty much, towards the church of Sardis, but I want to pretty much take this piece right here, and pretty much, at the end of the day, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, man. Okay. All right, you still got to remember, this is supposed to be your first love right here, man. Hold fast to this thing, man. Okay. And he repented, man. Okay, and pretty much, man, hey, man, he's not gonna get overtaken by the thief, man. You see? Okay, why? It's because he's gonna be on his watch. Okay, he claims that he's still doing the work, and all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai for that. Okay. Basically, we want to take and believe everything that he had just said there, man. Okay, all right, because why? It's because he's pretty much confessing himself before the congregation in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, you see, all right. So, hey, man, that was a beautiful thing. That situation had how it pretty much unfolded and materialized, man. Okay, all right. All right, from there, I want to read down, I want to grab verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come up upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast what thou hast, that no man take thy crown. You see? Okay? All right? And pretty much, man, hey, you got to stay in this thing, man. You got to, you hold pretty much, you kept the word of the patience of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You still have to do that, man. Okay? All right? You don't let your feelings get you caught up in the path of destruction, man. You see? Okay? You see? And you don't let no man take your crown, man. Okay? You see? All right? That other individual, the Manasseh brother, he fell out pretty much. Hey, well, first and foremost, man, he wasn't of the elect. You see? Okay? But when you see this brother here, okay? And I believe the brother, he pulled up Luke. He read something in Luke, because there's different parables within that chapter. But this is more likened to the prodigal son, man. You see? Okay? He pretty much has returned home. Okay? He pretty much repented. He was young in the spirit. The individual, and then once you realize that, after the feelings, I mean, how mad are you how long are you gonna stay mad at the fact that you got reproved or rebuked, man, for wearing pajama pants, man? Okay, well, all right, once that wrath wears off, now what? Okay, all right, the truth is still the truth, though. You're gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater? Okay, you see, you're gonna fall away over something like that? Okay, so he had to really understand that. Listen, man, that wasn't his fight right there, man. Okay, because it wasn't geared towards him, but he got caught up in that mix, and he put himself in that situation, and it was on the path to destruction, man. You see? Okay, but hey, man, hey, all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. The brother, hey, man, and he continue in the faith, man. You see? Okay? And that was great, because he specifically came down there to look for these brothers, man. You see? All right? But hey, man, hey, it's a beautiful thing, man. And hey, hey, when the brother continued to stay strong and just continue doing the work, and I'm gonna end it there. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, By Hashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.